Hey everyone, in this video we'll talk about that how you can delete an element from the beginning of a single linked list. Let's start. So for deleting an element from the beginning of a single linked list, you have to check two things. At first, what you have to check? You have to check that head next is null or not. If your head next is null, then it means you have only one value within your list. For that, our procedure will be different. So if our head next equals to null, it means if our list contains only one element. So for that, what we'll do, we'll just make the head pointer as null, and before that we'll store the head pointer into a temporary del pointer. So at first what we'll do, we'll store the head into del and we'll make the head null. It means we had only one value and we have deleted that. So till now we haven't deleted that. For that we have to use a free function. We'll talk about that later. So if our list has only one value, then we'll store that into del and we'll make the head null. If our list contains only one value, else what we'll do, we'll add the head to del, then move the head to next. So what does it mean? Let's say that we have a list like this. This is the list and head is pointing here. Let's say F0, F1, F2. So what we'll do, we'll move head to head next. So what does the head next means? Head next means the F1. So at first head was pointing to the F0. Now if we move head to head next, then it will point to the head next. It means F0 next. What is F0 next? That is F1. So we will point this thing, and before that we'll store this into del, then we'll deallocate this. So we'll talk about that again. And at last what we'll do, we'll free or delete the del, else it will be a dangling pointer. So let's look at the write-down board. We have three values, FFF0, FFF2 and FFF4. So what we have to do, this is the head. So what I have told earlier, that we will only move the head pointer when we are inserting anything at beginning or we are deleting any element from the beginning. So in this case we are deleting any element from the beginning. For that we will move the head pointer. If we are performing any deletion or insertion from the end or mid, we won't move our head pointer. We will move our head pointer only for performing any operation at the beginning. So our head is pointing here. Now what we'll do, we'll store our head into del. We will store our head into del. So del will contain FFF0. Then what we'll do, we'll move the head pointer. If we move the head pointer, what is the head next is FFF2. Then head will point to this node. Then it will be the final list. So now head is pointing here, this node. So we have this memory at the del. Now at last we'll deallocate the del. So it means we have successfully deleted the first node from the list. If we have only one node, then what we'll do, let's say that we have only one node. This is head. Head is pointing here. This is null. We'll make the head as null, and before that we'll store that in del and we'll free that. So this is how we can delete any element from the beginning. So let's look at the code. So we have this function over here. Now what we'll do, we'll just write node t equals to head. This is the reference pointer. Then we will take this del for deleting or deallocating the memory. Then at first we'll check that if our head next equals to null, it means we have only one value. So we can put another condition that if head equals to null, then we can delete. That is the condition, but currently here we don't have any space. So when we'll implement the code, then you can see that we have implemented that. If head equals to null, then we'll return that. We cannot delete anything. So if head equals to null, it means we have only one value. Del equals to head, we'll store that into head and we'll make that head null, and at last we'll deallocate that. So this is for if we have only one value. Else what we'll do, we'll store the head into del, we'll move the head pointer, then this head pointer will point to this node, that is FFF2, head equals to head next. Then at last we'll deallocate the memory. So what will be the final output? That head will be FFF2. At first it was FFF0, Now it is FFF2. So I hope this portion is clear that how you can delete an element from the beginning of a single linked list. So let's start with the hands-on. So as you can see in my screen that at first we have written typedef struct node, then we have taken the head pointer, this for the creating node, and this is for inserting the value. We have discussed these things earlier. This for the traversing, and this function is for deleting anything from the beginning. So at first what we have done, we have taken a reference pointer, then we have taken a del. If our head is null, then we cannot delete anything. That's why we'll just print list is empty. Else if we'll check that if our head contain or if our list contains only one value, then we'll store that into del, then we'll make the head null, then we'll print only block in the list deleted successfully. Else what we'll do, we'll just store that into del, then we'll shift the head to its next node, then we'll print first block deleted successfully, and at last we'll deallocate the memory. So at first what we have done, we have inserted 3 elements, we are calling the traverse method. So let me compile this code. So in the 68th line we are inserting 100, successfully inserted data. We are inserting 200 in the 69th line. In the 70th line we are inserting 300. So this portion has been executed. Then what we have done, we have traversed the entire list. So we have called this thing. Then we are deleting the element from the beginning. So now what will be the list? It will be, so at first what we had 100, 200 and 300. Now after deleting the first element we have 200, 300, first block deleted successfully. Then we are calling this function again, then we have deleted 200. So currently we have 300 in the list, and at last we are calling this function again, and we are getting only block in the list deleted successfully. Data present in the list is null. Now if we call this function again, then it will print, let's say 100, 200, 300. It will print list is empty at last. So at last we are calling this deleting at beginning again. So we don't have any values within our list. So it's saying that list is empty. I think these portions are clear how you can delete an element from the beginning of a list. If you have any doubt, just write in the comment section. See you in the next video.